kids. Morning. Kind of jumped in there a little fast there.
That was a little jump cut there.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little jump cut. How you doing, Rory?
I'm doing good, my friend. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm like, I don't know, just like all of a sudden I noticed, oh, am I a little bit like mentally drunk, fatigued, tired? Karen, Karen, remember
Karen there with the positive theories.
yeah, Karen, we talked about this yesterday. You have to work on that evil cackle of yours. No, work on it meaning don't do it so much. That's what I mean.
Upping the quality of evil cackles everywhere.
Here comes Karen.
I come onto your show.
Yeah?
And then I just look at the top of it.
Yeah? Okay. So check this out. We were doing, Rory and I were doing a couple of tests just before we started.
Yeah.
And we believe a big part of this is coming from the Dragon Front overlay. I don't know if it's going to, this is kind of nice and cold for about a good second and then I'm done. Wait, why'd you walking away? Give me ice and then leave? All right, so yeah, let's see. Let's check this out.
We were doing good. We had no Dragon Front game, if I recall correctly, and we were only at about 51, 52%.
Yeah, let me try turning off the Dragon Front overlay right now and see what happens. That's just turning it off so it's not visible anymore. Okay, yeah. If I want to also come in, I'm going to right-click it in OBS. I'm going to refresh it just to kind of make sure there's no code. Look at that. It seems like that thing, now, while other things are kind of jumping up and down, there's something in the front overlay. And I don't know what it is.
Well, we got to be a little careful because now OBS is doing a bigger job. Okay, it is sending information out where it wasn't before.
Yeah,
okay, so some of those facts are not that reliable.
Yeah, but look at this.
The
right, we're still.
Oh, it's still too high. Yeah.
No, I'm going to say I'm going to say that's way less than the 99% or 100% that we're normally at.
Oh, indeed.
That's what
yeah, it's just that before we started broadcasting, you see there's a 22 there now. That was about what OBS itself was doing. So if you like, the page itself is back down to normal levels.
Oh, right here you're saying.
Right?
This one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas OBS is a little higher than it was, but naturally that's because it's broadcasting on our behalf. So we kind of let it do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But either way, yes, you're right. It is way lower than the 99 that we had just a few moments ago.
Yeah. And let's just to confirm, I'm going to reinitialize the Dragon Front overlay. Turn that on. I just turned it on. I haven't refreshed it yet. But even just turning it on, look at that. And I'm up at 99% GPU.
Wow.
That's my problem.
But that's a good thing, which is to say, it's a good thing that we have narrowed down the location of the problem.
No,
right. It is no longer just all the things are bad. Now we hopefully have this one area.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Let's keep this up, actually. Let's start a second instance of Visual Studio. I'm going to open up the overlays. I just want to take a look at the front overlay. I want to just do a scan of it. Try to get a sense of what is going on. What's happening with the front overlay?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not sure. I've got the, let's see here. Let's view Solution Explorer. So let's see. The front main this is the entry point right here. And it says, we create a new Dragon Front game and then we say run. That's what we call from the front main. To compare that to the main, which is the back overlay right here, it looks pretty much identical. I think these are...
That's pretty close, yeah.
Expected to be pretty much the same. I go back and forth between the two and yeah, you can see they look to be very similar. The only difference is I think this is the only difference between the two. Is that right?
Yeah, we got a variable name and an instance of a class that's subtly different.
Yeah, we have this commented out piece right here. And so that's what those two are looking like. So the difference between front main, yeah, that's that. It's just the name of the canvas. By the way, while we were just waiting for Visual Studio to load, I was thinking, could the problem actually be on the CS HTML page?
That's interesting.
Because I was thinking, oh, what if I'm doing something here, like if I refer to the script dragon back game inside of here, and if there's any functions in there, those would be executed, I'm pretty sure, right? Even though I'm not explicitly calling them, if there's a code in there. So I'm saying what
Functions shouldn't be, but if there's any raw code
That's what I
that
mean.
refers to those functions, they would be.
Yeah. So let's just look inside there, see if we have any of those things. We got some classes, not too worried about those. Looks like just classes here, but I should also check between the classes to make sure. So one way to do that is to use selection increase to grab the whole thing till we got the whole class. There it is. So you look up at the top there. Coders, you can't quite see because the Coders logo is blocking that a little bit, but there. But now I can just use this and see, is there anything? Nope. So there's the dragon back cam, use selection increase, get to the end, anything beyond it? No. So there's no code inside of there.
Okay.
That's going on there, that's executing. So, okay. Then I think I want to look now at the Dragon front game and see, is there any code inside of here? You know, what's going on inside of here? I've got a coin manager class. I've got the Dragon front game class right here. I've got the player health class, and that's it. This problem is going to be harder to find than I thought. What about in my update? Let's see. Let's look at my update. Colon all coins update positions. This is in my draw method. My update screen is here. I kind of want to, you know what I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a binary search on this.
Yeah.
I want to comment out everything in update screen and see if it has anything to do with update screen. That's what I want to do.
So does that effectively knock the entire front game on its head? In other words, nothing will happen, but everything will be included. Is that what's the effect of blanking update screen? Nothing should get drawn, essentially, right?
Nothing gets drawn. Update screen will still be called as many times as it's being called. What's interesting?
Sure. So we've got a cycle. What's the phrase? A game loop, so to speak.
Yeah. What's interesting is I just went to OBS and my Dragon front overlay was hidden, and it looks like if I go in and refresh that, it has no impact on my GPU. Which means we're now at kind of a broken point where we can't find things. We can't test this anymore.
Yeah, we have no reset facility.
Yeah, we have no. We're like at a point where let me turn off the dice now. Let's see what happens. I just turned off the dice layer. Nothing happened. Let me turn the dragon back overlay off. Turn that off. We're still at like 98, 99, 100%.
So we're doing nothing, but we're doing it really, really intensely.
Yeah, it seems like the case. I'm refreshing both of these hidden pieces. I'm refreshing the dice layer and the back overlay, but keeping them hidden. Yeah. Oh, what's interesting though is so this is the guy right here to keep an eye on. This one up, the main one. My theory on that is that's what it takes to do the live streaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be my theory. I like that.
All right. Wait. Let's do. I want to turn off the drone game, as well. Turn that off. See if there's any impact. Okay. Not really an impact on the GPU usage. We saw. I swear we saw. Let me go refresh its cache as well, but keep it hidden. Just to presumably unload the code associated with that. Yeah, I think we lost our ability to detect positive change on this thing.
So are these things elements of a scene, the various overlays or pages or portals that we're looking at pages through? Are they in effect even when not physically on the current scene?
Yeah. They are.
Okay.
They
so
show
there's
up on
nothing
every...
about having too many scenes that will be amping extra copies of this or anything.
No, they are. When I disable them on this scene, they're disabled on all the other scenes as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Let me refresh that front overlay so we get this wrong again. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to initialize player data. This might take longer to find.
Yeah.
But at least we kind of have a sense. I think my intuition is a binary search is going to maybe help me. If it's a problem with the code, it'll help me find what part of the code is there. How many times is the update screen get called? Should be getting called about 30 times a second. Supit Martin, is that how I pronounce your handle? Let me know. Yeah, Martin, it's roughly about 30 times a second, but we have the ability to change the frame rate on it. So we can come in here and say, let's drop to 5 frames a second, slow everything down. That doesn't seem to have a significant impact on GPU. We're already kind of maxing out here. So, yeah.
So I mean, there's two ways to look at this, or two ways to try and find this. One, you can either start taking things away from the front game, the one we believe to be at fault, or you can start adding things to one of the other overlays and not have front game engaged at all, and see what does it take to make them worse. So, for example, let's imagine that there was one JavaScript file out there which was inherently running some stuff it shouldn't be, but it's only referenced on the front game CS/HTML. By finding anything extra that was in the front game version of that and adding it to the back game, you might make the back game worse.
It's a great idea.
And demonstrate that.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Okay.
Sick. That's
What,
nice.
What'd you say?
I like the music. It's peaceful.
I know. I was thinking, is there an ice cream truck driving up? What is that?
Don't. I'd go for an ice cream right now.
Oh, yeah?
I'll tell you what, one pulls up past the house, I'm gone.
Just bring the phone or whatever, the mic out with you when you get it.
That's fair. It's a laptop. We got Wi-Fi. We could maybe make something work.
So yeah, so we're like, here's where we are. This big one, this one right here, this one that's taking up 42% right now, that, based on what I've seen, my theory is that's related to all my OBS overlays. Earlier today, by the way, this was at 30% with everything essentially running like you're seeing it. It was at 30%. And then I was doing some things, looked back, and it was up at 60%. And I was like, what is going on? So I'm super interested to know what's going on with the GPU there. I'm wondering, we also have the load on demand for our two-dimensional resources as well. So what's happening is over time, it's load on demand, but also load on idle. So if we need it, it loads it up immediately. And if we don't need it, it starts loading it so it'll be ready and fast to drop. And it does that so we can do all of these effects. Here, let me give you a stress test on the system here. And if I come here, right click this and say test all damage, we should see all the different damage types rolling in. Now look at how slowly the dice are rolling now.
Yeah.
They're rolling really slowly. Right? So that's an indication that our GPU power is pretty much maxed out.
This is the equivalent to just running normal PC stuff, and it starts thrashing because it has to write everything to disk. It's trying to switch memory, and it's kind of a similar exercise, isn't it?
Yeah. We also have, over here in the FPS page, we have dynamic throttling, so you can see what's going on. It changed the dice overlay. Now that the dice roll is done, it slowed it down, and it re-increased the frame rates here. We popped that back
I know
up.
exactly what you're talking about, but I'm not sure many other people will because the dice are blocking the view of you doing any of that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's not a lot to be done there, though. But yes, essentially, Mark is altering the number of frames per second that are allowable for things like the dice.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So, yeah.
Game loop still goes round as often as it did, but the actual decision to render things is taken less frequently.
Yeah, so compare that with just rolling a single die. Let's say do like a flat D20 and roll that. That should come out. So for some reason I think I've broken flat D20. Is that true? Looks like it is. Oh, maybe because I haven't selected a player. Hold on, maybe it's because I don't have a player. There we go. So it seems a little more responsive, right? And so ultimately we want more GPUs so the dice rolls look good.
Suppets Martin is saying in the chat room that maybe you could turn your sound up a little bit. The sound effects are a little louder than you are.
Check. let's drop down the desktop sounds.
Certainly better. Certainly from, I don't think that what I hear is in any way reminiscent though of or representative of what the stream is it?
Yeah, no.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, you don't. You have something different. But
Sabis Martin and Jetson both say better.
Better. Okay. Thanks so much. Check it. I'm worried about this. I'm just peeking a little bit here. Check. All right, and then I'm going to crank that up just a little bit over there. See what that happens. How's that sound now? Still okay? Let me know. Jetsom's with us. Jetson, we did not see Jetsom's fanfare.
He snuck in. It's fine.
Little clippy. Better now. Okay, good. Yeah, it was feeling like it was clipping a little bit. Oh, he snuck in. It's fine. Oh, you're right. He did. Okay, good. I was like, do we have a problem? Alert. So we were working on our monster picker yesterday, and it was associated with Cornelia's Take Wild Shape. And so now when we click on Take Wild Shape, we get the monster picker in here. And there are actually two things I was reading about the rules yesterday, and I realized, there's one more thing that we need to
isn't there always
to filter on. Yeah, let me bring it up here.
That's true, because when I was with you, you were looking at the filtering on the basis that the challenge level was sufficiently low that the person was in fact able to assume this particular shape.
Right.
So you had like hundreds of animals before. It looks like you knocked it down to about 30 or so on the basis of this first filter.
Yeah, I'll show you that there's 3 filters that are passed into it. It's in this line of code right here, select monster, right there. And so we're passing in the piece that I added. That I didn't realize till I read it was this one right here, because when you do wild shape, you can only turn into a beast, and there are like 14 different kinds of creatures. There are like oozes, there are plants, there are undead, there are fiends, there are celestials, right? There are all these different kinds. There are humanoids. There are all these different kinds of creatures, and one of them, the creature kinds, is a beast. And so select monster now has a filter right here that allows you to select what kind, creature kind, what the challenge rating, the max challenge rating can be, and if there's any travel limitations, movement limitations. And so Druidic Wild Shape has limitations that it gets from the Druidic Wild Shape table, which I'll bring up right here and show it to you, the Druid table. Where is it? Right there. These are its challenge rating limitations right here. And so if you're a level 3 Druid, you can only wild shape into a creature that has a challenge rating between 0 and 1/4. Okay? And if you get to level 4, then you can go up to a challenge rating 1/2, that sort of thing. So that's our Druid table. There's another there's a Druid circle feature that you can choose a path of, and one of them is the circle of the moon. And if you choose that, your wild shape challenge rating numbers are much higher. It's kind of like being a werewolf to some degree, right? You have a lot more power, and so this table is incomplete. There needs to be essentially one more column here. However, we have no druids that are following the circle of the moon path yet, so don't need to implement it, even though now would be a great time because we've got our minds on the problem. But that's what's going on there. The limitations here, if you're level 3, it cannot fly and it cannot swim. And when you get to level 4, it just can't fly. And finally, when you get to level 8 as a druid, you can fly, it can swim, anything like that. Emilio's following. Thanks for that follow, Emilio. Glad to have you with us. All right. So, and if you're new to the show, just to give you an overview, we're building Dungeons and Dragons, special effects, die rolling, things for a separate Dungeons and Dragons stream. I'll put that out in the chat room so you can go take a look at that if you're not out there following us. If you like Dungeons and Dragons and comedy and you are up at this time, it's a fun show. on our last show, one of the characters died.
Okay.
It was in a it was a nasty death. And by the way, the character, he sits over next to Fred. By the way, this happened to him. Let's see if with this could.
Ow.
I don't know if I can give. Yeah. Notice the flames both in front of and behind Fred. I don't know if you can see that. Right.
That's very nice.
That
Fred stays cool.
That happened to him, and he still didn't die. He still didn't die.
Okay.
This happened to him as well. There's some problems with the audio on that because that's the limit of my system in terms of grabbing big files and popping them out. But anyway, that's kind of one of our characters died, and so real dramatic stuff on the show. So this and so to support that, what we've got is we've got an expression evaluator. We have got code that we're storing up here in Google Sheets. We have code in C# and TypeScript. In C#, we're actually talking to the Google Sheets. Pudding, I'm in the middle. Clearly, you're just interrupting. Pudding. Yeah. It's true. Pudding does make me happier. That's true. So we're working on the code right here that to implement the feature. So we're taking the logic from Dungeons and Dragons, sticking it in the spreadsheet in the form of essentially C# code. We are evaluating the expressions inside the spreadsheets, including events. So like this is the feature wild shape, and when the game starts, it's going to execute this initialization code right here. And when the feature is activated, it's going to initialize this. It's going to execute this code. Including this super cool thing, adding a timer that when we're done with the timer, it's going to call exit wild shape. And because it's all an expression engine, I can essentially pass a function in as a parameter to another function, like I'm doing right here as a string. I'm just passing it in as a string. So we've done some kind of cool stuff here. So just getting you up to speed to where we are.
So basically, we've written D&D sharp, and we've got our own common dungeon runtime.
There you go.
That is sorting things out.
D&D sharp. Pudding's asking how it's going. It's going okay. It's going okay. I've got I'll tell you what's going to make me happier is when I solve this GPU problem.
Oh,
right
yeah.
here.
That'll be dancing on the table and stuff. That will.
That's going to be happy for me. That's going to be happy for me. The problem is it's right here. Hold on. It's right in, it's in this guy right here. That guy is taking up way more than its share of GPU. And we think we've narrowed it down, but the problem is our ability to diagnose dissipates over time. So we have we have apparently a couple minutes as we're starting up OBS before other things start grabbing enough GPU to make it so we can't actually see what the impact is, I think. But this is the guy. That's the guy right there that we're going to be looking at. And I think...
Curious, Mark. If we've got what we're imagining to be, and the name would imply, a browser page, which is using a lot of GPU, would we not be able to simulate that by putting it in Chrome and having Chrome equally be bemused?
Yeah, I think we should be able to. Absolutely.
And does Chrome give us the facility somehow to kind of capture the memory usage of like variables and stuff, or some form of analysis that says, well, this is executing a lot, you should maybe do this less?
No, absolutely.
Because I know we haven't got a lot of diagnostics for OBS itself, but
no, I'm totally expecting it to maybe yield something there. I myself need to learn more about how to do that. So
don't get me wrong, I'm only hypothesizing. I'm not speaking from a position of knowledge on this. It's a out and out guess. But
the cool thing is based on what we were looking at, we think it's in one overlay and not the other two. Based on the data Roy and I looked at this morning, we're feeling that is the case. So Pudding is out there asking, is that where you render all your effects? The effects are rendered in 3 different overlays. There's a front overlay and the back overlay, and those 2 overlays are working about as hard. and so it's unusual. It's surprising that one of the overlays is the front overlay is where the problems seem to be, because actually the back overlay works even harder than the front, I think. And the reason why is because the back overlay has sprinkles. So give you a sense of sprinkles. If you don't know, here's sprinkles. Let me cancel this a second. Go over into sprinkles, show sprinkles. That's sprinkles right there. So the back overlay's got this giant animated creature with thousands of PNG frames of animation, right? Sprinkle blast. All right, so anyway, that's sprinkles. Let me get rid of sprinkles there. The back overlay also has it has the spell scroll stat sheets, so the stat sheets for the player, and it has the spells right here animation. So the back actually seems to be doing more than the front. The front is updating the clock right there. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Pudding says the console allows for that. Yeah, here's the thing, Pudding. I've been in the console and I haven't really found it intuitive, and I haven't found the tutorial that's going to just tell me the essence of what I need to know in terms of how to find it. So I'm like kind of struggling because I don't want to spend a lot of time learning a bunch of things I don't need to know. I just want to learn what I need to know to discover this and to find this. Quality of animation never fails to surprise me, says Pudding. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you like that. Yeah, it's trying to make it good. Could just be the front one. Well, that's what we're saying, is that we think it's the front overlay, something in the front overlay. But even when we notice the low GPU, we've got the, notice the coins have dropped to a low frame rate. And that's not because the drone game supports variable frame rates. We have not added that to it yet, that I recall. That's because our GPU's got to be taxed out at 100%, I think. Let me double check that. Yeah, we're at 100%. So, so yeah, there's some things to learn about. I don't think it's garbage collection. It's this. I don't think garbage collection has really anything to do with GPU hit, right? In other words, if it was garbage collection problem, I'd expect a problem here, right, with memory. I don't think it's garbage collection.
But at the same time, if we weren't properly disposing of objects in some sense, they could still be in a list somewhere being processed by GPU, even if they weren't showing.
Yeah, that's actually a really great point. I've found evidence that our emitter stuff is not properly disposed of. I'm not sure if I can... might as well just talk about it for a second. So if I right-click here on deception, I sort of roll a skill check, we've got an emitter rolling around the word deception there. So there's a particle emitter that's putting all of those little gold particles around it there. And we'll go ahead and roll that die, comes out, that sort of thing. Now if I come in and let's see if I can trigger the bug. If I switch it, now I think I might have to do it, maybe not by right-clicking, but by using, who's up, Cornelia? All right, let's go into her skill checks. I'm going to use the Stream Deck and say, let's grab a saving throw. Let's save for intelligence. Let's see what happens. And there's some particles that go away there. And then let's go back and let's do a skill check for her. And let's do a history skill check. There we go. There's the bug. See that, Rory? I've got the old one around, I'm not even sure I had, was it investigation before? I think it was, yeah. So I've got the old one running and the new one.
Yeah, so we've definitely got old emitters that are still in place being acted on, even though they shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's a concern to me. Am I going to go hunt that bug now, is what I'm wondering?
Well, let me ask you, what were your alternate plans for today?
I don't know, be grumpy? Like become an old man and be grumpy about the state of my GPU?
Age at the rate of 1 second per second.
Yeah, I was going to age at that rate. That was the rate. I was going to go for 2 second age at 2 seconds every 1 second, every 2 seconds. 2 seconds every 2 seconds. Okay, I don't know. You want to do that, or do you want to? I don't think it's going to be fun. But
I
let's
don't
do
know. I
it.
think people have different ideas of fun.
Let's go figure it out. Let's see what's going on.
I am curious to solve the problem at the end of the day.
But again, Roy, this is on the back page. The back page is not having the problem with the GPU, according to what we looked at.
Well, okay, it's not at the same scale, right? But don't these two classes inherit from a common ancestor and use common pieces? And if the problem is in those pieces, the amount of problem you would see in either of the two layers would be different.
All right, so here are my emitters right here. Highlight emitter pages. I don't see anything that gets rid of these. What's going on with my highlight emitter pages? I'm not sure if this may not be the only emitter that we have here.
True.
So these are all the different ones that are out there. Okay. How do I know? So these are basically each one of these. So what's going on is there's an array of highlighted. Okay, wait, hold on. I know what's going on. Let me jump into this again. This is an array of highlight emitters for each page. That's what it is. And then the emitters on the page itself are here. What's interesting, okay, the find is probably in the interesting piece here, because the find is where we get a particular emitter and where we're probably using that. Oops, find is not found. Can I do an F2 on this to rename it and now tab to find it? Not going anywhere. Tab's not taking me anywhere. So find is not really used.
It really feels like we might want to find things, but I don't know. Are we just using all of them? Are we?
Well, let's see what's going on here. So here's what's happening. We're creating all the pages. So this is the pages, the main page, the skills page, the item equipment page, and the spell page. So there are 4 pages to show. And there's also a shadow page here. Why are we putting a page on the shadow page? I don't know why we're doing that. There might be, I'm not sure about that. Oh, I think I know why, because the shadow shows up to do de-emphasis, so the shadow comes up over it. All right. Oh, look at this. Yeah.
Welcome, Codebase Alpha.
Mr. Announcer Guy says, I always like watching Mark try to dance. Try to dance? What are you talking about?
That's a very surly comment. I wonder how that got in there.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Pudding says, but front layer spawns more and bigger stuff. No, it's the back layer that actually does more work, it seems. So I think there's an error. I think there's a mistake. The front layer has the clock it's updating. It should be updating that thing once a second, though. There's a signal R command that should be coming through once a second. There's really not much else the front layer does unless it's time for special effects, like blood, for example.
Does the back layer do much, if you don't count sprinkles, does
Or
it do
money.
much in the way of animated things?
Here's the front layer for you when money comes down. I'm sorry. And we've also got the animated text on the front layer that comes up. So that's actually a relatively recent piece that we added as well. Maybe there's a problem there. I'm actually thinking, getting a thing there. What did you ask me, Roy, just then?
I was asking if the back layer, if you don't count sprinkles, does much in the way of video style animation, or whether it's a lot of static things and maybe just emitters. Because if it's a problem with video-based things, then unless you did sprinkles quite a few times, you wouldn't get to the same level as, you showed us fire before, which was front and back, and there are a lot of other effects which are out front.
The fire one was actually with video right on a scene. I switched to a different scene that had that. So whenever I'm doing anything bigger than like about that and my arms on screen, right? Anything from like the edge of the screen over to me, anything bigger than sprinkles, right? Then I switch to a video effect because it's just the performance is better. You don't have as much control over it, but you can do cooler things. Like for example, when I cast the tidal wave spell, part of that, we haven't done this yet, but I want to switch to this scene right here. which does that.
That is a nice effect.
Yeah, it's actually a reuse of half of an effect on that's used for one of the female characters on the all-female version of the show. Her name is Marae, and she's got a rage, and she's a water genasi. And when that happens, she's combining fire and water with her rage, and it looks like this. Give you that, get that steam in the background. So anyway, so that's that part. I just want to look at the emitters a bit, just to refresh my memory here. So the highlight emitter pages are here. Then what we're doing is we're defining, creating a new highlight emitter, and we're selecting the page. We're saying what page we want to put it on. We're indexing the array here. Yeah. And this is going to be, I think, the name. This first parameter is the name of it. I think, if I'm correct on this, emphasis main. Yeah, it's going to be one of these pieces right here. Okay, so that's going to be its ID, I think, on how it's going to identify itself. It's going to get one of those elements from there. Okay. So this will be for the name headshot, the race class, and then at some point down here we had, we were doing, let's see, skills right here. Mm-hmm. Add distribution. This is where we add everything. We add strength through charisma, and then here we add distribution between everything between acrobatics and survival. So that's just going to add a whole bunch of emitters in there. And associate them with the highlight emitter pages. So this is all the initialization right there. Add rectangular highlight. So here's where we're pushing this. Okay. Update. Got to call the highlight emitter pre-update. So we're going through each one. If we got an emitter in there, so we're just going to go out to its pre-update call. Super pre-update. So, all right, so this is just a world object right there. And for each particle, we're going to go in there and similarly call particle.preUpdate, which I think is also a world object. Okay, so that's pre-update. Doesn't seem to be doing very much significant stuff there. Let's keep going. Here's the update. Here's where we call update. Emitter. If this dot stopped, if we've stopped, then we return.
That's an interesting comment there. A to-do. Now, it's maybe not quite what we're after, but it's interesting that you're right. You saw the emitter being pushed into a list. And the question is, when it does finally expire, on whatever basis that is, it probably goes into a state of being, I don't need to be dealt with. But does it get removed?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm trying to scan the code for, is how are we looking at this particle splice? So here we're actually seeing the particles expired. We're removing that. We call super update at the end. We do not call it at the beginning. Let's see what super does. Just a world object. So it's just going to update its acceleration, position, velocity. Because the emitter can be moving through time and space or as well. Yep. There's kind of a brute force approach to this, which is when I create a new emitter, just delete all the other ones. Just basically stop them all. Mm-hmm. is kind of what I'm thinking about doing. All right, where is, let me hit escape to get back to where I was before we jump through here. I was looking at update. Okay, so there's that. So this is not going to remove, this is not, I'm not sure how we're ending the highlight. I haven't seen code yet to stop an emitter.
Yeah. And yet they don't. I mean, it's not like they're piling up. I mean, you don't select the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth, and they all stay. It's just a kind of a sometimes.
It's like it's a sometimes, and it's one is what it seems like, but I'm not entirely sure.
So the last one that you had, no, that doesn't make sense. The last one you had is actually one you want to stay validly there.
It's I think the last one we did on that page is what I think. So there's an array of highlight emitters for there's an array of emitters for each page, and each of those are held separately here.
So if we highlight thing 1, thing 2, thing 3 on page 1, move away from that page to page 2, and then come back, thing 3 might be still there.
Here, I think it goes like this. This is, I think, the way to reproduce it. I start by right-clicking here on performance, and already you can see. So see investigation. That was like the first one that I did. I'm going to right-click and choose performance skill check, like that, and move away. Come back. Now I'm going to right click and choose religion, and I think we're going to still see investigation selected, is what I think we're going to see. So I'm going to right click, choose religion, and yeah, look, investigation is still selected right there. Do a religion skill check. There's my religion. Now I'm going to try to do a skill check for Cornelia on intimidation using the Stream Deck and see what happens. And see now, the question is, does it now change to religion? Because that was the one I right-clicked. In other words, the problem may not be low level, it might be high level. I might be sending two different things out. Nope, it's still investigation. It's like it's that first one. Notice that religion goes away correctly.
Yeah.
Investigation did not. So somewhere we've got code to clean these up. I just don't see where it is yet.
This feels like an off by one, like we're clearing until we get down to 0 items, but it's not 0 items, it's the 0th item.
Yeah.
Still there.
Look at this. Here's find. And look, I can drill into it. I just can't tab to next reference, and if I hit rename on it, it doesn't go find it on the other page. Oh, it does. Oh, now I can suddenly hit tab between them. Okay. That's like, why is it can't find it here? Add particle items, character stat scroll. This dot emitter pages. It's of a clearly defined type, highlight emitter pages. We should be able to find that. All right, let's do a CodeRush issue report right here. Roy, can you note the time clock is 10:47:49 here? There was an issue with my CodeRush issue reports, and I'm not prepared to debug it where the time stamp was not being put in there. So when you see this one come out, just mention it like the clock is at 10:48. Okay? All right, and that, they can find it in case that's not there. All right, so check this out. I'm down here in character stat scrolls on the find method here. I'm hitting the tab key. I cannot tab to next reference here. CodeRush is loaded. If I hit F2 to rename it, Visual Studio finds all, and now I can hit the tab key to go through all of them. Also, if I just drill in, I can go find it. Similarly here, if I hit the tab key, tab to next reference does not work. The code for this thing is, hold on, let's bring up source tree. And we will, I'll put a tag in there for you guys so you have the code for the code we're working with here, which is the code I checked in today, which is got a comment removed. So I'm just going to do a tag here. So we're going to call this EP-270, episode 270-begin. And we'll push the tag to the origin immediately. And I'll put this right up here. And Rory, if you want to, here, let me copy that link address. Let me go give that to you, Rory.
Okay.
So you'll have that, and you can put that in the email as well, so they can get that source code. Yeah, so we're dog fooding CodeRush every day. We're looking for edge case issues and bugs and reporting them. That's what we're doing. So let me go close that issue over here. And tab to next reference on the find function in TypeScript. Okay, so check that email, see if we've got a timestamp to the show, Rory, and if we don't, it looks like we need to go do some work down over there. All right.
Fair enough.
So so the find, by the way, so now, what's interesting, by the way, devs, look at this too. If I hit tab here, nothing is happening. I am not going anywhere if I start my rename from here. But if I come out, oh, by the way, let's do the rename here one more time. F2 to rename. Let's come back. It is in the other places. And now that I'm here, can I do the tab key? Now I can do it here. I just can't do it in the other place. All right. So anyway, that's the bug. All right. So now that we've got find and we can go through them, let's see if we can find. What's also interesting is Shift Tab doesn't work, but that may be because this is Visual Studio's feature, not ours running. Here's a stop right here. I want to go drill into the stop. This just chains out to the actual emitter. Stopping is true. Yeah, it's missing the link to the show.
The link's gone.
Yeah, I think we.
Text.
I think the API changed, and I bet it's a. My hunch is we need a new get a new NuGet update there. So stopping. So we're calling stopping as true in the call to stop. Let's go back. Escape to get back. Remove particle emphasis. So what's going on here? Previously emphasizing is this currently emphasizing? Unfocus item. Unfocus item. That's called, this is a signal R command that's called from our main app. The main app appears to not be clearing its emphasis, is what it appears to be. Remove particle emphasis. Yeah. What if it's going like this? Maybe the steps to reproduce look like this, Rory. Hold on. Let's show this page. Let's highlight persuasion. And now let's change pages. I'm going to click right here. Okay. And now I'm going to go back. And now I'm going to do stealth. Is persuasion now? Nope, it's still investigation. So there's some sequence of steps that prevents the first one from clearing itself off. I wonder if it's hide scroll. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let's try medicine check. Nope, still investigation. And the die roll is so slow. Yeah, that GPU maxing out is not happy for me. Okay, I think the problem is up high, not down low. Is what I think. But I do think a brute force attack down low could solve this problem. So when we're here, we're saying, because I originally wanted to be able to support multiple pieces being emphasized at once.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what I'm going to do. I just don't think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, because I don't really have a use for that. It's just rare cases where I need to be able to use that. And I'm not going to worry about that for right now. I think what I want to do instead is I want to do something like this. I want like a for loop here. There's length in emitters. What's in emitters here? It's an array. Is it count? I think it's length. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like it didn't show it. Okay, so now I'm going to get all of those. Let's also simplify this code a little bit too. So we got that. And that now. Let's pretend I'm in JavaScript and not C#. There we go. TypeScript. There we go. And so now we're going to say, we're going to grab an emitter like this. And that's going to be of type highlight emitter. So we want to create a new variable of that. And we're going to set that equal to this. And we're going to say highlight if highlight emitter is not equal to emitter, then we're going to say highlight emitter dot stop, like that. That's what I think we're going to do. The problem is I don't know exactly how to reproduce this, so that's in the drag and back overlay.
That's the trouble. So for all we know, we won't follow the path to the bad place, and thus can't prove that it's fixed.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Yeah, we'll have to watch it to see what's going on. Let me initialize player data. We'll see if we can duplicate it. Okay, let's do a intimidation skill check. There's that. Let's do a performance skill check. Good, it looks like it's stopping. Let's hit the button, do an investigation. Check. Let's switch to a different player.
Merkin Bushwhacker.
Back over to Cornelia with an animal handling check. I'm going to call it fixed. So, hey, Deepwater. How you doing? All right. So, yeah, we're just kind of going through and fixing bugs. Things that aren't working, we're trying to make them work a little bit better. I believe my GPU problem is up in my front overlay. Let's do this. Let's just turn off my GPU in the front overlay. And also refresh that. I'm going to refresh that cache so any code that was running in it is gone. And also just turn it off. Okay, so there's my front overlay is off. I should have watched the GPU while I did it to see if it dropped at all. Still at 100.
Darn.
Yeah. Let's take out my back overlay. I just turned it off. No real change over there. I'm going to take my back overlay, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to refresh it without showing it. Although to be fair, it kind of shows it in this preview here, so it is kind of loaded there. Yep. And then I got my dice layer. Let's turn off my dice layer.
Mm-hmm.
I've turned all the layers off. All right. That's how you want to be. That's how you want to be today? All right. Yeah, I got nothing. I have no power against this. The GPU owns me right now.
Well, I mean, at this stage, the only other thing you can do is to restart OBS, but, that's a little extreme.
Right. No, that's true. Yeah. This is the kind of thing that I think we're going to learn a little bit about each show. I think if you've got time, we start about 10 minutes early every day, and we kind of look through it, try to figure it out. So I've got all of those overlays off. It doesn't seem to make a difference whether they're on or off. Turn them back on. We'll initialize player data. Okay. I may have initialized. Oh, no, it's all working. Okay. Good. And so, yeah. Something we got to work on. Something we got to look at. So I think that's not the problem. I think the problem is in the front page. We're going to have to oh, wait, I just had an idea for a better way than just refreshing. If we go into here and we do this.
Oh. Do nothing.
On the front game, now all of a sudden, that's going to have a big impact. Let's see if that has any impact.
Really hope so.
Yeah. Let's bring
if it doesn't, what does that mean?
There's the task manager. I don't know. We'll try it. So I'm going to do a refresh now on my Dragon Front game. Refresh. There. It's done with refresh. Any impact? Not really. Although...
Here's an interesting thing then.
Wait, no. Look at how low this is. This is the one, right? This is the one to watch. OBS is cranking, working hard. But this guy down here... What do you want to say, Rory?
Well, do we believe from previous experience that OBS uses pieces of Chrome, or maybe not Chrome directly, but some of the parts that Chrome also uses, so JavaScript, I forget the keywords. The only reason I ask is because I know that when we've done stuff with Chrome, it has on occasion been incredibly keen on caching things, even if we change them.
Yep, no, that's right.
And as a result, we have had to cheat a little bit by telling it to go and get... by adding parameters to the JavaScript references we have just to go force the cache refresh.
That is not the case today. And the reason I know that is because when we're refreshing, we're not seeing anything. So it's we know, we have evidence that these changes are impacting it. Still at 100% though, but we've got that dice roller. I'm about to take that dice roller, front main, map main. Where's the die roller? How's the die roller get going here? What is it? It's in dice roller. It's
dice roller and dice layer are both referenced in that.
I think it's in dice roller. Dice roller is this, my head spinning massive block of code that went from another person's code to ours, and so as a result, it's some of my least proud of code in the world. Like to look in here, so I've got dice layer, dice roller. Dice layer might have it. Let's go see if dice layer has got something in it. What do we got here? There's animated rectangle, animated line, just more classes. I'm looking for raw code, raw functions. Let's get right here, use selection increase. No, I'm not seeing it there. It must be in dice roller. How do we get started in here? Ooh, what's this? Init. There's my init right there. All right. So let's try the init. Commenting out now the init. Go into our dice roller. Let's show our task manager. Let's go in here and say properties, refresh cache current page. And that looks like that was what we needed to do. Any drop? We got a little bit of a drop. Well, actually a lot of drop here.
Yeah. I mean, so that's good. That's a good sign. But evidently something somewhere else has been needing more of the GPU than it's been getting access to, and it's just taking up a lot of the slack.
Yeah. Look at, by the way, how smoothly the coins are rotating now around the edges.
They are pretty smooth.
Right? So you've got that happening there. I got to get a faster machine. It's like, I'm like, well, we could continue to analyze it, or I could get a faster machine. I've just now put the init back in. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to refresh the 3D dice. And let's watch. Really don't look up here, because once it gets to 100, this is where we want to look, right here on this guy. So it went from 16 to 33. So it's about 15% of the GPU by loading that up. Maybe about 20%. So about 15% about is what that's taking, which I'm okay if that's what it takes forever. Let's do a refresh of just that one alone. I'm going to call initialize player data on that. I'm going to, let's do our, throw all our dice out at once. And see what happens here. So there, look at that, all dice. Now it wants about another 20% of the GPU easily just to get to there. Let's see what happens. Does it, when the dice go away, does that drop back down? Let's clear the dice out. Again, this is the number with the one we want to look at right here. Notice how low OBS goes. So OBS, I bet, was maybe during that time was not having great, and there it is, it just dropped down. So it's temporarily needing more or less. So what's interesting is looking at this is doubling my GPU should solve all my problems. All I need to do is double it. Yeah, let's make it lag. It exploded.
What you really need is problems that you can solve by just throwing money at them.
Yeah.
Or hardware,
that's
same
not
kind of
bad.
difference.
Yeah. The problem is I just can't do this without it being obvious. And Karen's going to be like, you owe me so big.
Why do you?
Oh shit, she's right here.
Your timing, my friend, is awesome.
Oh, nothing, honey. We're trying to come up with a way to really convey just how beautiful you were to everyone.
Impossible.
And
We've tried this.
and we're thinking, we think it's impossible. We think with a machine with more GPU power would make you look so much prettier, right?
What about
That's the
my
way we
camera for
refactor
my
this stuff.
my face thing?
What'd you say?
What about face rigging?
Face rigging? I did get you a Leap motion controller for that. That's on its way in. So you'll be able to move your fingers.
Really?
Yeah. I think we need more GPU power. Scotty, we need more power.
You've got a little.
What are you doing? I don't know what's going on.
You're twisted.
Okay. We need to make a FunMarks GPU campaign. Oh, man. Yeah. We went 19% again. More hardware always solves the problems. Yeah.
What is
No,
GPU?
Well, GPU is the graphics processor unit. It's what's doing all the pretty visuals and things like that.
Buy another computer.
Yeah, it's right here. It's that little tiny thing right there.
So I think we have all the GPU we need.
Unfortunately, this says you don't right there. That's the problem. That's what we've been watching and we're looking at.
Well, I filled up the Amazon cart, so if we get everything in the Amazon cart, you can put in whatever you want.
Really? Really?
What?
All right.
Wait, I'm gonna go.
Let me go check what's in the Amazon cart. See just how bad that is. She said, I'm going to just leave it like that. I'm not going to argue. I think you heard it,
You
kids.
love it when these things are said on air.
All right. Let's move forward. We're going to move forward. We're going to try and figure out this GPU problem. Hopefully we can solve it with software. It's super interesting. So 40%, 40%. What's my 12% desktop window manager? What are you doing? Why are you taking so much?
I've been keeping a small eye on that. That's been averaging between sort of 12 and 15 the whole time. I don't remember when you and I first started looking at this, whether it was on then, but
I've seen it
the last
before.
20 minutes at least, it's been hanging around at that.
Manager sucking up my GPU. I figure that's going to be My
It's
GPU.
clearly going to be a big hit.
I'm gonna get better hits. I got 1.8 million results for there. High GPU usage. See, I love how Google knows when I'm sucking up. It means high GPU usage right here. I don't have it to 80%. I have it to 15. Corrupt user profiles. What are you talking about? High CPU memory use. What are you talking about? CPU throttling. I think this is not an easy problem to fix quickly. I don't think we're going to get good high quality data in this. Yeah. And with a name like Desktop Windows Manager, it kind of feels like something I shouldn't kill. Right?
When I first encountered it, I said it's either going to fall into one of two categories. It's either going to be absolutely vital for the well-being of my PC,
Or not
or
needed.
alternatively, it's malware that somehow found its way on there, and they chose that name to make me ignore it.
Yeah. What? Oh my God. This is a Microsoft agent? Oh man. If I have another concern, I have a concern about your answer, Julie. Oh man. Yeah. All right. Yeah. The problem is I feel like I'm on the space. I'm on a spacecraft going out into space. We're trying to reduce weight, and we're looking around, and I'm the fat guy on the ship, and I'm looking around. Where can we solve the problem? They're like, Mark, it's you.
It's either you or the engine.
It's been you all along. Yeah, it's you or the engine, or you want to buy and I'm like, I want to get a bigger spacecraft. That's what we want to do. Why are we reading this? I don't know. I'm like, I'm sorry. Let's go do something, shall we? Let's actually try to write a line of code today. That's what I would like to do. Let's get the
we undo all of the temporary things that we did to. There we go.
Yeah, let's do that.
Make things run at all.
That one, that's front main, and then main. This is for the back page. So we'll do that again. We'll get those together. GPU problem. You've not seen the last of me. Okay? You've not seen the last of me. All right, let's go in, take the back overlay, refresh that. Here's the clock updating. Take the front overlay, refresh that. Now we start to see the coins on the front page start to slow down. Refresh the data. We're just going to push on through. All right. So I wanted to look at, there was actually a bug that I found with one of the characters and we noticed in playing one of the games that I wanted to look at, and had to do with the feature known as archery. So archery, is there any code in here? There should be. I'm expecting it. There it is right there. If attack is range is true, then set attack ability modifier to this roll. To get the attack ability modifier to this roll, add 2 to it. Okay? So archery ability adds 2 when the player raises the weapon. But I noticed with one of the players, it is Thomasina Cutterbuck, who's right next to me right now. So when she raises her regular bow, it works.
Thomasina.
There's her longbow right there. And I'm going to put an ice arrow in it. There it is right there. So she's got the ice arrow. And by the way, here, let me show you what's really happening when I do this. So let's go switch to dagger. And then let's go back to longbow. When I hit longbow, this comes up. Remember yesterday we were talking about that cool trick to set the next answer, Rory? The next text answer?
Sorry, yes, I've muted, but I do remember exactly that.
Yeah, and so that's what we want to do here. So we want to make it so that in the Stream Deck, when the Dungeon Master clicks on longbow, they could then get to a second set of buttons that say what arrows do you want to load, right? Yeah. So that they can choose which one. But I just clicked on here for now, ice arrow. So now if I run this, I get here. I get 1d8 plus 2 piercing. My modifier is a plus 4. Let's check this because this already feels like it might not be right. Thomasina, let's bring up Thomasina's and bring up her longbow and see if these numbers are matching up. They should totally match up. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it should be a plus 6 to hit right there behind my head. That's it right there. Plus 6. Should what we see, 1d8 plus 2 is right, but the modifier is wrong. Let's roll the attack and see if this at the last minute changes, because sometimes that might happen. Does not look like it. It's still a plus 4 here. And what do we see when it comes out on screen? Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Does that have an actual effect? Because that
Yeah.
was a 6, right?
Yeah, no, it changes it. It's when all the dice stop rolling. Yeah, it's a plus 4. So archery doesn't seem like it's working even for longbow. When we saw it in the game, it was like longbow was working, but crossbow was not. Now it looks like neither one are working. Let's see if we can figure that out. So let's look back at the code. The code is for the feature archery, on player raises weapon. Can we wrote some code here. I don't know if I can do this or not. Can I do this? I want to be able to say archery on player raises weapon, and I want to set a breakpoint here. Will that actually work? Wouldn't that be sweet if we actually get out there and that code works?
Really good.
I feel like we got close to writing this, and I don't remember if we finished this or not. So let's come back over here, click on Frostbow, click on Arrow. Do we got a breakpoint? Ooh, we got this. Oh. You know why? Because
Okay.
I'm not running. I'm not running from
From Studio.
from Studio. That's a standalone instance. Let's try running from Studio and do the same thing.
So did I hear you say correctly that this is a modifier you want to add when the player raises their bow?
Yeah, when they raise it, so that should change to a 6 instead of a
Does
4.
that mean they've got a skill level for just pointing their bow at the ground and letting an arrow loose?
No.
So if they don't raise their bow, they just sort of leave it pointing at their own foot.
Yeah, but they
can
can't.
still get a good chance.
They can't fire the weapon without raising the bow. It's the event. Don't mock my event names, Rory.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So let's initialize player data again. I'm doing that off screen. Thanks, Rory. I'm like psychically somehow knowing it's you.
Fred.
All right. Bring up Thomasina. We can hide her scroll. Click on, let's do debug. We want to say archery, player raises weapon, set a breakpoint, please work. I really want that to work. Let's click on longbow, arrow. It feels like it might work. Nice, sweet. Look at this. Okay, so here's where we're about to execute the code. If attack range is true, is in range, attack is range is true. So what we're looking for is that then we're going to call set on attacking ability modifier this roll. We're going to add 2 to that is what we're going to do. Let's just look at player now and see what their attacking modifier ability this roll is. Probably going to be faster if we come down and just type it in here. Player dot attacking ability modifier this roll. What are you? You're a 0. I think that might be the problem. That its attacking ability modifier should be set before we call here. I think it's going to add 2 to it. Is what I think. Let's just do this. Let's break out of here. Look at our watch. Get our watch up here so we can see it. We should see that change to a 2 after we step through this code up here.
Yeah.
So debugger.break does not. We just Oh, I hit F5 to run. And yeah, it changed to 2. Yeah, you said, I heard you say there it is, and I hadn't quite got my eyes on it yet. So yeah, so this code is working. The problem is, on the way in, our attacking ability modifier has not been charactered use here. I need to figure out. Yeah, look, here's where we're doing this code down here. That code kind of needs to be happening before this code, weapon raised. So let's try changing the order of that. Okay, let's actually, we can't do it till we get out of there. Let's get to this line of code here. And then let's take this and move it.
That was not a singular set of code.
You're right. So has weapon in hand, then we're going to set these. These, in effect, might set that other property. The attacking ability modifier of this roll. Let me just copy.
That's a sequencing problem, potentially.
Maybe.
We are adding, we think, the right quantity, but after we needed to.
Let's see. Let's see if I want to see how that's set. All right, let's do this. Let's come in here, hit the Code Rush nav key, and choose Jump to Assignments on that. Oh, I didn't hit Enter? Oh, okay. I was like, why is this taking so long? All right. What? Oh. You know why it's only assigned here? No, wait, hold on. This is actually all good. This is only assigned from the expressions evaluator. Okay, so no worries that there are no other assignments here. I'm sorry. This is used later in the call to get attacking ability modifier, right here.
Okay.
All right, so let's kind of run and see when we get into this code. Did we raise it again? I'm not sure what happened here. Because I just went through and re-executed it. That's why. Yeah. So I said change it from here to here. Yeah. This order doesn't matter. Okay. The modifier is still +4. We didn't get out to. Let's go click this one. Now, where are we in the call stack? We're here. So we're calling get. We're calling get ability modifier before. I think it's coming out of this branch right here. Is that right? Activate shortcut for player. We got to look at this one more time closely to see where it's coming first. We need to switch the order of these two pieces, I think. Again, I'm going to click on or debugger break. Click on longbow. Look at the call stack. Activate shortcut. Player taking action. Update. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a screenshot of this, Rory, because it's hard to tell which branch we're coming from. Oh, you know what I guess I could do is I could set breakpoints at each of these places to find out where we are. That might be better than taking a screenshot. Just set a breakpoint at the next line. To see where the other piece is coming from. And then finally out to activate shortcut. All right, then now run. Okay, so it's not from there. Not from there. Okay, it's from whatever breakpoint I have. I'm going to hit next is the place. So player taking action is the key. Activate shortcut for player. So,
Yeah.
so we're basically a problem here, and somewhere in these lines of code here, we're doing the other thing, and we want to do player taking action first. That's what I think we need to do. Okay, this, we don't need this one. So it's inside activate shortcut for player. So one more time, Frostbow, activate shortcut for player. I'm just going to step over each one of these. Now I'm confused because I think we should have hit a breakpoint. Did I clear all the breakpoints? Oh, we're inside it. We're actually inside player taking action. Update. I'm a little lost, Roy, in terms of
Yeah, it's kind of hard to picture the hierarchy. Of
where
these
exactly I
roles.
am. Yeah. I wonder if there's a CodeRush feature that can help me that doesn't exist yet that we could spec out in this moment in time. Right, where you say, I'm interested in this relationship of this line of code to this line of code from a call stack perspective, right? Where's the branch? Where are we? Where's the common parent of the two, right?
Yeah.
And where's the branching point? That's kind of what I'm looking for. All right, so these are the additional lines of code that we added here. We still have this guy, that break. This is actually being called twice, which I'm not liking.
No.
Weapon raised. We've only got one call in the code here. Is use being called twice? Oh, I got a bunch of test cases that are calling it. There's one there in player window. Only once from there. Prepare attack from creature. That could be it. It could be being called from two different places. It's a breakpoint
Yeah,
here.
what you're looking for is a feature very like the find all references, but which would, from all of those references, look n levels higher as well. Or n levels lower, technically. So it's the fan in, fan out kind of logic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're actually looking for overlaps between the various threads.
So player taking action, we're here. Whoops. I'm just going to hit F10 as we go through here. Okay, that's where we ask for it. Okay. Update player attacking ability. And we check the ability modifier. So we do this first. The attacking ability modifier is what? What are we going to get here? Oh, but here's where interesting. So attacking ability modifier, this roll gets the 2 back. But did raised weapon get called before this? I'm not entirely sure where I am in the circle. I feel like I need to kind of reset this. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where we want update player attacking ability. I want to set a breakpoint here and keep running. Now we've got use. And I think we're going to come into weapon raised now. What's my call stack coming from? Prepare attack. Yeah, it's the low level prepare attack. So I kind of like this sequence here, but I'm not so happy with use being called from here.
Okay.
Do I have a prepare attack call in here? Where's prepare attack called from? Yeah, I feel like I've got like a, kind of a spaghetti mix of functions calling through time, and I want to know where. I've got two different prepare attacks. I think this is the one that we're calling. Yeah, that's it. Player taking action. Character extension. These are test methods here. Test. Okay, so it's called from player taking action. So use is called from here, right? Player taking action calls player.prepareAttack. Player.prepareAttack calls use no matter what. So that means that anybody that's calling player taking action should not call use. And this should not be here.
That is calling use, so it should not do. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And that explains you hitting that breakpoint twice.
Yes, it does. Okay, that also means, though, that everything's got to be happening here in the right order. In other words, anything that use might have depended on, anything that changed to state that would have impacted use should not be done here. I feel like in deleting that, that might have fixed other issues that then in turn caused this issue. So I think that I might.
Don't we have a potential corollary problem, which is to say that, okay, if by removing use from there, let's get this right. You can have use happen before or after a thing, and that thing can either use, really bad phrasing, the result of use, or it can contribute to something that use depends on. In other words, it could be good at the start or at the end, or potentially some in some places and some in others.
Yeah.
And we've got to be really careful.
Yeah. I agree with that. We got to be really careful on it. Also, I don't like the word use. Use is not very descriptive at this point in time in here. But for character, what goes on here, so attack num, it's really interesting that attack num is inside here. This implies it's an attack, but it could be a different kind of shortcut, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, here we're saying use great axe. So here, use kind of makes sense, right? From the test cases, use great axe. What are we doing? Dagger. Use the dagger. I think use needs to be renamed to attack with weapon.
So what's the? It's a player action shortcut that gets passed.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna stop everything for a second, and I'm gonna rename this. This is like this is an important thing. Yeah. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna say.
So what range of things can be player action shortcuts?
Weapon attack. Player action shortcuts can be feature activations, spell castings, and weapon attacks. That's what they can be. But this is a prepare weapon attack is what this is. So now attack num does make sense, right? Reset player action-based state. Okie doke. Let's just look at that. That's just going to a bunch of action-based things we are resetting back to 0, including attacking ability modifier bonus this roll. So we are resetting that here. So that means weapon is raised. We want to do that here. We want to do that. This is a good time to do it after we've reset it. And we don't want to do any calculations until afterwards. So prepare weapon attack. If we go back out to where this is used in what's in creature, and then prepare attack is called from here. So player taking action at this point, I think this may need to go up higher. Like I'm looking at this, update player attacking ability. Let's see what's going on in there. Yeah, that's where we're getting the attacking ability modifier. I feel like the solution is to do this. prepare attack, like that.
If the prepare attack is to literally prepare the attack, and then you're updating the player attacking ability afterwards, does that mean the prepare attack cannot base itself on the modifier change?
Right, it doesn't. So look at this. What's happening in here is where the attacking ability modifier, this property is of the action shortcut itself. So, and that action shortcut then is then used to then set the data in the UI. So this is kind of like the model, and the view is the UI right there, and the attacking ability is there. So yeah, I think that's feeling like a much better order to me. Let's try it and see what happens. Again, we're looking for, where is Thomasina's? We're looking for the longbow to be a +6 on the hit, and the frostbow to be a +7. That's what we're looking for. And the damage, we're looking for, the damage is over here like this. If Surly were here, he'd be like, come on. So, how many drills will it take to reach 101% GPU usage?
That seems like a question for Surly Fleet.
Is Surly Fleet out there? Is there a Surly Fleet now? I hope not.
It was mentioned once or twice by someone, I can't think who.
Hey, here's my favorite wife right over here, by the way.
It's me.
There
Karen
she is.
Cuddy.
She's like,
And my
oh, and my other favorite kid right over here. There he is right there. Here he comes, coming in. There he is.
Watch your butt.
That's Campbell Franklin. He's like a supermodel.
Hello.
He's
wearing
wearing.
a onesie.
He's probably the only child in Costa Rica that wears a onesie a lot, right?
Probably.
Or at all.
For AAA batteries, Daddy. Got something?
Yeah, above the fridge in the glass jar.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
You
I
hoarding batteries.
I also have some in my wallet, so if you need me to bring in my wallet and give you some batteries. Come on, honey. All right, so let's see what we got here. Update player attacking ability. Well, let's see what happens. What are we going to get out of here? Are we going to get a good value?
I think it's all just going to magically work perfectly.
Get attacking ability modifier. What's this thing? Oh, it's not. It's a 0. Oh wait, no, wait. We're not doing anything yet. Hold on. I haven't hit any magic buttons yet.
Okay.
I'm just initializing data here, and it's going through. Let's clear out breakpoints. Where is it? Disable all breakpoints. That's what I meant to do, and run. Okay, back over here. Thomasina. Let's go to the debug page. Archery. And player raises weapon. Set a breakpoint right there. Let's raise the weapon. Bring up the longbow. Well, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens in here. Well, we do get the breakpoint here. We've got it down here. We're going to see that change to a 2. So we know that code works. There are changes to a 2 right there.
Yep.
What do we got? +6. Way better. That was plus 4 before. Frostbow should be +7, and we got a +2 right here. Frostbow should change this to a 7 and this to a 3, and it should give us an extra dice depending on if we add ISOs to it. So let's change over here. Let's run, and yeah, look at that,
7.
and a +3. We wrote some code, Rory. Not bad.
I'm going to suggest that is that's fixed.
Let's roll the attack. And there's our extra ISO damage bonus on it. Here's something I want to do, though. I want to add, we were talking about adding buttons to the Stream Deck.
Is a hit.
So we'll clear the dice out like that. All right, let's look at the Stream Deck a second. So switch over to the Stream Deck XL. And Thomasina, actions, and longbow. We've got so longbow and frostbow are here and here. And you can see here's what's happening in both of those places. What I want to do is I want to change this. I want to create a folder here. Call it longbow. Like that. Let's drop the font size down a bit. And ultimately I'd put a picture in here of a longbow. So when this button is pressed, Then I want to open it up. Let me just copy this, drag it down in there. And what I want to do, this is actually super cool. So a long time ago, there's a computer system that came out called the Next computer system, I think.
Yep.
And it was really beautifully well designed. I think Steve Jobs was involved in the design of it, but it was missing some stuff. It didn't have ease of development. So it had there was some gorgeous ease of use, but not ease of development. I think that's why it died. It was pretty expensive too. But one of the things that they were working with were essentially radial menus, or menus that could be radial, as I recall. I'm connecting these two pieces of distant memories, but I think that's correct. What's cool about what we're about to do is we can actually create something similar to a radial menu. So if I come in here on Longbow right here, so my finger's right on Longbow and I hit that button, I can then put my choices on either side of it, right? Instead of putting the buttons on the upper left or something like that. So I'm going to, well, let's actually do this. What I want to do here is I want to say, I want to add the space, and then I want to say set next answer. To arrow, like that. And I want to then change this word from longbow to arrow. And maybe just call it normal arrow, actually. Normal arrow, like that. And maybe increase the font. And then copy that and put it on the other side over here. And ice arrow, and we'd replace the pictures and stuff like that, but so the UI is easy to use. But then we'll change this to ice arrow, like that. So that's what I want to do. But I think it's not going to work, and the reason I think it's not going to work is because look what happens. What's the text in here? The text is not going to quite match because it's got the word 19 in parens at the end of it. Or it's got the text on it. That's what I think. Let's turn off that breakpoint so we stop hitting that breakpoint. Okay, cool. You know what? I like this. This is not bad, Roy.
It works.
This plus the ability...
An improved experience, isn't it?
Yeah, also the ability to write directly to the Google spreadsheet cell, right, from here. In fact, we might even do that automatically. Right now, I've got to click on this button right here. So, for example, if I say something like, let's see if this works. Test to see if this works, like that. And I choose update, like that. Switch over to, index was out of range. It's my column index, I think. Is that right? No, wait. Row index. All rows, okay, of how many? Oh, different counts.
Right.
And my column index is 22.
See, this feels like you're writing for the first time to a column that doesn't have... It has got, it's the highest column ever written to in that row. Except we know that's not the case because you're just updating something that should already exist.
Right, I know, and I'm trying to figure out why that is the case. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, unless it's misidentified the row somehow, and it's decided it's a different row which has not got that many columns.
Yeah, that I'm not sure that makes sense either, though.
Shouldn't have done that either, but
let's figure that out. So let's see if we can set
look at any of the other data that's actually in there and prove that it is the right row.
It's a good idea. Can't get out of it. Yeah, let's look at, that's a great idea here. So our row index is 5, I think, right? So let's look at all rows of 5. It says archery. It's supposed to be 19.
What
19 is
trying to write to, because is that just a plain off by one writing error?
I think it's much higher. I thought it was like 33 or something. Column index is 22. Why is column index 22?
Did you put... Okay, so we're trying to change... No, that wouldn't work. I was going to say, we're trying to change column 1920, depending on how you view it. How did anything get into column 22? If we were on a sheet doing that, we could have accidentally typed it in, but there's no place here to represent that extra column, right?
Look at this. On player raises weapons is... wait, is that right? Oh, no, that's right. That's the one we want. Archery player raises weapons. 22. Let's go look at the spreadsheet.
Is that just 2 events further on and we've put something in there?
T is 22. I think that's probably 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
T is 20.
Yeah, this is 19. I think that's 19, 20, 21, 22 on player cast spell is what we're trying to get to. It's like we've got the wrong column. On player raises weapon. Yeah, it looks like the wrong column is definitely being selected here.
Do we have data in the on player cast spell? What was that?
I want to go back here. I want to see what's
it trying to write?
Get column name, attribute member info on player cast spell. We're actually trying to get to it. You know what I think? I think we've already gone through and maybe have we? I haven't actually looked at the spreadsheet. Did we actually update it? Yeah. So we look at this. We did update it.
Oh right. That's
We're just going
to write something further.
Yeah, further. And so what we want to do is get existing value. And I think it looks like I can't change it. It looks like we're already. There's no way I can set a breakpoint. I can't set execution to another location. Thread is called into a function that cannot be displayed, which I don't get that because we're simply just accessing, that. So I think oh wait, maybe I can do something now. Hold on. I want to do this. I think I want to do this. If column index is greater than all rows of row index dot count greater than or equal to, then I want to say return null. Let's see if I can set execution here. Nope, it is not letting me. Can I set it here? I think I'm going to have to restart. Let's see what happens. Does that continue get this or not? Oh, maybe it is going to get it. This is the other older error. This is fine. We've got enough here. It's just that edit and continue didn't get it. So I'm going to have to reset everything, restart it. But I wanted to basically do this. Hey, get existing value. And then I want to say, hey, if it's null, then we're done.
Yeah.
Like that. Then I'm just going to say break. Because that means the column index no longer is there. Or maybe just simply, maybe instead not be done, but we're going to do this. So if the existing value is not null, because anything else it won't be null, pretty sure. Pretty sure. I can also wrap it in a try catch. Yeah, I don't think there are ever null values. I think they're just empty strings is what they are.
But don't we only get back sufficient cells to take us to the rightmost cell with any data actually in it? And so the problem here is that we're trying to write to, this could pop up almost any time. So if you think about the rightmost cell in that sheet, if we do not currently have a value in it, then there won't be a cell to write data to.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do this instead. There's a better way to do this. This is kind of dumb what I did. What's way better is to take this out of here. Hold on. It's starting up and I'm trying to kill it. Trying to kill it. Okay. So yeah, this was a really bad idea. Let me show you the way better idea. I was trying to kind of convey information in a way that wasn't super clear from inside the method outside. What I really want to do, and I'm only calling it from this location, what I really want to do is say, look, hey, if the column, I want to just check to see if my data is good on the way in. So I want to say, hey, if column index is greater than or equal to that, then I want to say continue. Like that. That's what I want to do. And so the column index is determined right up here. So let's do this right here. Put a comment here that says some rows may have fewer columns because efficiency of the Google Sheets engine. So if I say give me everything in this selection in this area, it's going to give me, it's not going to fill everything out if I only have five, the first 3 columns filled with data and the rest are empty. It only gives me three entries in that row.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, that's feeling better to me. Let's run that. Sometimes we have days like this, right, where we're just kind of, we have such a large code base, right? We are not, the cool thing about this show is it's not, small demo after small demo, right? We've been working, we've been building essentially one long extensible, extendable code base, extending code base for about 2 years, I want to say. Is that right, Roy?
I was just saying, if not 2 years already, we must be coming up on it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're coming up on the 2-year mark here. Somewhere around the fall of this year is, I think, when we started. It was probably around August. I think somewhere. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Here comes Karen, because she always she meticulously tracks any time spent doing tasks.
We are closer to 3.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not true. Okay. I don't think that's true at all.
It's 100% true.
That is not true. Not 3 years.
I lost a year somewhere.
I don't know what she's saying. What's she talking about? All right, so
full 2.
Yeah, full 2. I started in August. Is that when I started?
Not started in August. You
September.
May.
May.
Yeah, like May, June. Yeah.
Did you make this program, Mark? Yeah, I think I made all of these programs. The only thing we're using that I didn't make is we're using Google Sheets API. I created a wrap around it that's super freaking cool, though. We're using Canon.js and 3.js to do the 3-dimensional dice rolling. And the expression evaluator. And the expression evaluator.
But we've customized that too.
Yeah, we're just in there doing our own stuff all the time. Okay, so now let's go back in and try one more time. We'll try to do it without an error. So we're going to come in here.
Kara's suggesting that maybe we've lost track of time on a sort of an annual basis. I'm not so sure that's true, but I have lost track of time on a daily basis, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to go.
All right, buddy.
Sorry, bud.
We'll see you.
We'll see you tomorrow, though.
See you tomorrow. Thanks so much, Roy. It's been awesome.
See you then, man. Bye-bye.
So, bye-bye. All right, so we're going to come in here. Archery on player raises weapon. Now I'm going to come in here and remove the comment. Let's get the sheet up here. There's the sheet right there. Test to see if this works. Let's remove the comment and update it, and Alt-Tab over. There, you can see it updates it automatically. So that's now working. We don't have the error anymore that was caused by nothing else, all the other pieces being empty on this line, right? No other cells over here. So cool. So archery now appears to work correctly for Thomasina on both of her weapons. And so just to double check that, come back over here, go to the longbow. We should see +6 up here, and 1d8 +2, and we switch to the frostbow, and we should see +7, 1d8 +3. Excellent. Now let's go back to the stream deck. We were going in here, making it so that the dungeon master could click on longbow, and then choose which arrow to choose from. Right there. Select the arrow. My contention is this code will not work. Let's try it. I'm going to hit ice arrow first, and we still see it. Okay, so that's the problem. Let's go ahead and choose ice arrow. Let's change this though. Let's put a star here. Let's create a new convention that if I put a star in here on the set it next answer, it's going to only match that first part of it. It still won't work now, but as I'll hit the ice arrow button, and we're still going to ask the question. But let's now go to the code and figure out where to change that. That's going to be in our main window, because that's where we're showing the UI for that. So in our main, probably faster if I hit the code rush key and type in main to jump to it. And we want to look at, it's actually a function in here called ask.
That'd be 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been streaming for 3 years?
18, 19, 20.
I don't think I've been streaming for 3 years. I think it's 2, baby.
Well, really? Because it's 2020, and you have shows from 2018, 2019, 2020.
Okay. All right. All right, so here's where we come in here and we look to see if we can find a selected answer already, is what we're trying to do. What I want to do here is I think I want to do this. Let's set a breakpoint here. I'm going to hit the ice arrow button. Now here's the next answer is ice arrow with the asterisk at the end. Did you want to say something, baby?
In July, it will be 3 years.
In July, it'll be 3 years. That's super cool. Well, I didn't know that. Whoops. I wanted to do if next answer dot ends with star. Then we're going to do a start with kind of search on this thing. And let's do this. Let's take this and split initialization from declaration on that. Bring that up here. And then we're going to put an else right there. There's our else selected answer. And down in here, we're going to say slightly different. We want answer tag, next answer is equal to next answer dot substring. Or we could do this actually. Everything before, that's a helper method, an extension method we created. So everything before that, and then I want to come in here and say where answer text dot starts with the next answer. In fact, actually, it's probably better to create our own local variable here called search pattern, I guess, like that. And let's make that equal to this and use search pattern right here. There we go. All right, so now if we step through it, what's my problem? Capturing variable search pattern that hasn't been captured before. I just created and declared it. You should be happy with that. All right. Let's do this then. Let's just kill the app and restart it, because I really like that variable name in there. I don't want to change that. Let's run it. I think it's got a shot at working. All right, so we'll bring it up, we'll load it. I'm going to hit the ice arrow button.
Thomasina.
All right. Here's the app. Let's initialize the player data. Okay.
Working.
All right. Now I'm going to hit the ice arrow button. And if it works, I don't know if we have a breakpoint. I don't think we do. We should just erase it with an ice arrow.
Thomasina color block.
It did not work. All right. Let's set a breakpoint in there and see what's going on. Close it. Hit the normal arrow button. So arrow. Did we get anything back? We got it this time. So arrow worked, ice arrow did not, apparently. Okay, so there's a normal arrow. Let's hit ice arrow again and see what's going on. Why didn't ice arrow match? Search pattern is now ice arrow. We don't have any answer text that starts with that. Let's look at the answer map. It should totally work. I'm hitting F10. Selected answer worked this time. Why did it seemingly not work the first time? Yeah, there's the ice arrow. So normal arrow. And now hit the ice arrow. Let's try initializing player data again. It's just a first time in bug? I'm trying to figure out why that didn't work. Or maybe it's user error.
Working. Thomasina cutter block.
All right. Let me hit ice arrow. That worked. Let me restart and try it. Set a breakpoint here. We'll watch it one more time. I wonder if it was, maybe this was not set. Somehow next answer was not set for the active player. The active player wasn't set. Could that have been my problem on the first start? Maybe that was my problem. Let's change my breakpoint to here.
Thomasina cutter block.
Initialize player data. There it is.
Merkin bushwhacker. Yes, cutter block.
Okay. There she is. I'm going to hide the scroll. I'm going to click ice arrow button. And step into it. What do we got? Yep, we're going in. And select an answer. It's got something. All right. I'm not sure what I saw the first time, but it seems like it's working. And there's the ice arrow up. So yeah, so that's very cool. Now the without the actual images, it's not as cool. But the ability now to hit a longbow, and we'll change this so it looks like it's a longbow, right? You hit the longbow button, you get inside, and now you get to pick what your arrow is, and it's close to the button you already hit, so you're not moving your hand a lot, which is good UI, right? We're trying to minimize the amount of motion that's happening. I'm going to call that a show. I think that's pretty good. We've done we did some investigation. We wrote some code. I think we fixed some important bugs.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
I
What?
thought like 3 more hours.
What you want me to? What do you want me to do?
No, I went.
Wait, 3 more hours of what? What are you doing?
What?
Are you loading up the Amazon cart?
No.
Turn your screen. Are you loading up the Amazon?
No, I'm not
She's
turning
loading up the Amazon cart. She was like, you can get a computer to fix your GPU if you let me load up my Amazon cart. All right.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
All right. Let's go. I think.
thought you're all done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
I'm done. Let's go raid, I think it's, what is it, Microsoft Developer? I think they, let me go double check, make sure those guys are still out there going live. I think they are. And, see if the build conference is still going on. Yep, looks like it is. Still going. All right, we're going to send you over there, kids. Tell everybody I said hi. And we'll see you again tomorrow.